welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be finishing up Love Off the Grid, covering episodes 13 and 14. That's all we're doing in this episode. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. So episode 13. So Maisha and Joe, she's ovulating, so let's fuck. She tells him, and he says, because he was actually about to make some food because he was hungry. And when she tells him, he's like, I ain't hungry no more. He's hungry, not hungry. So, I think it was him who said, has it been hard not having sex? And I think it was her that responds with, either way, it's either or. And one of them responds back with, not as hard as it's gonna be. And I said, damn. He's like, he's so backed up, he's giving her triplets today. And I said, gross. Anyway, Maisha is buying into these old wives' tales where you're like, oh, you gotta put your feet up for 15 minutes to make sure that the sperm goes where it needs to be. That's all bullshit. Like, you don't have to do any of those things. Sperm travels where it needs to go the minute it is inside you. So, and basically they're gonna have sex all the time now because she's ovulating. You ovulating? Okay. That's it for them for episode 13. Episode 13 now for Jolie and Jenn. They're going to be going on a stroll with Susan. It's more like a hike. It's more like a trek. It's more like not me, not I. And after that happens, because I mean, Jolie was struggling throughout this, just hell on earth. So she was really struggling throughout it. And then the next scene we see them in, they get into an argument. And Jolie basically packs up and she leaves. And basically, it looks like this argument was because the animals, I'm not sure exactly which animal, I hear the cats, the dogs, whatever animal it was, I think mainly the cats, were sick. And they were inside in the bed with them, sick. And Jolie said, like, take them outside. I'm going to withhold my thoughts until the end of the episode with them because I think there's a lot going on with this. So we'll leave it for now with them. Let's move on now to our newbies who I don't even know why they're here. Melvin the goat died, y'all. We didn't even get to know you. But we miss you already, even though we didn't get to know you at all. Apparently Melvin only had or didn't have any balls, so Melvin couldn't procreate. Anyway, so because, now they have lost a goat, they're going to go shopping for a new goat. They want 2 goats, male and a female, for obvious reasons. But when the auction happens, so it's like, one of those auctions, like, we all watched Storage Wars a couple times, right? Right. So it's kind of like that, right? And you have to really, like, keep up with the auctioneer, but I don't know if they necessarily knew what they were getting themselves into, but they can't keep up. They're missing out on goats that they wanted to buy. Some of the goats are too expensive. They don't want to buy at that price, and it's an absolute mess. Kennard, he sucks. Okay, Kennard. Again, it's like I didn't get to know you enough to even give a shit, really. But at the same time, he really sucks because when she says, let me handle this, because she's kind of seeing how the game is played. Don't put your card up too high because you want to be subtle about it. Not make sure anyone else knows you are trying to get this particular goat because then it hikes the price up. She's correct. She's right. Again, if someone knows you have interest in something, they're going to keep going and they're going to hike the price up to the point where you don't want it anymore. And they get it. So she's trying to like tell him that apparently he's getting a little ticked off a little bit because she's telling him to basically shut up, let the women do the work, basically. Um, they get this really tiny little goat that's a male and this taller goat that's a female. And they're like, how is the logistics gonna happen? Listen, short kings always win, okay? Short kings can still get, can get done. Just saying. Anyway, um, so in I think it's in this, um, he goes they're in the car, they've packed up the goats, they're in the car, and he's like, well, you told me to stop, even though, like, I know what I was doing. Like, you have to show your number and all of this. Like, he's just being an absolute dick. And she's like, no, no. Like, this is how I think it needs to be done. Let me handle it. You're fine. And whatever. He still sucks. Anyway, that's it for them for episode 13. Let's move on to Jenn and Charlie. It's the last for episode 13. So Jenn wants Charlie to propose. Yeah, she does. She needs that commitment from him, she says, to us. And I think it's understandable. They've been at this now, I heard them say 2 years. And not only that, they've known each other even longer. So Charlie is building a house in the woods. And I think this was his friend says, so when you getting married? And like they're like, if you were to ask, like, would she say yes? Well, yes, she would say yes because she wants to get married. Anyway, that's basically it. There's not a lot with them in episode 13. Let's move on to episode 14. This is going to be a little longer because we're also getting the updates at the end. So, we're now with Jolie and Jenn again. And this is kind of when things just kind of implode here. I think at this point, Jolie has come back to get her. Oh, no, sorry. That's not correct. They were video calling. It was the next day. And this shit I hate. Jen's like, I'm an empath and I can feel you were miserable, Jolie. Listen, bitch. Like, I hate that. I hate when people say, oh, I'm an empath. It's just another excuse for you to act like an idiot with anyone. Now, I know Jenn has issues that she needs to work through. I'm not I'm not disparaging her on that. But you can't be out here saying this nonsense to what's the word I'm looking for? To basically make excuses for acting the way you do. What I loved was Jolie coming back with this number, which I think anyone and everyone should use when you get I'm an empath, but I know me. I know me. You can think all the hell you want about my emotions because I'm an empath, but I know me. I know my inner workings of how I operate. You don't, clearly. So, because the whole thing is that Jenn is basically saying that Jolie hated it. She hated being in the valley. And Jolie says, I didn't hate it. You built up the walls here, not me. And this is the thing. Jenn being out in the valley, her being so passionate, which at this point, yes, I'm not have the passion, but her being so hell bent on the valley, the valley, the valley. I come with the valley. The valley's her walls. The valley is literally a metaphor for her walls. And that's something that Jolie or anyone will never be able to tear down, because as long as the valley exists in Jenn's life, her walls exist. And you can't be putting the blame or trying to put the blame on anyone else. It's you. Could it be possible that Jolie hates the valley? Yes, I would too. But her love for you probably surpassed the hate for the valley. And sometimes that's enough. Love isn't fairy tales and rainbows and roses. It's real, raw emotion. And sometimes you gotta give and take. You gotta sacrifice. And for Jolie, this is her sacrifice for her love for Jenn. But for Jenn, that's not enough. So Jolie says, yeah, but, sorry, I think Jenn says, this is where we're at in terms of, I guess, the valley. And Jolie says, yeah, but not because of the valley or the animals, or sorry, in terms of where they are at in the relationship. And Jolie says, yeah, but we're here not because of the valley or because of the animals. It's because Jenn and Jenn and her walls. Not so much Jenn, but her walls. And so basically because Jenn is basically being told about herself in this moment, and she can't handle that. She literally shuts down and says, this isn't going anywhere. I think we need to take a break. Why? Because Jolie is literally, we're going to get to it in a second, but like Jolie is, I swear, urging her to see herself in the way that she sees her, and to allow herself to be happy and in love. And it's just falling on deaf ears. So in the next scene, Winter, the character we have been waiting for, it's here. And I said, that's it? This is it? A light dusting? This is it? This is the character arc we've been waiting for? That's a letdown. That's a letdown. Anyway, but Jolie is on the way to get her stuff. And Jenn doesn't know like what to expect. Jolie is kind of excited to see Jenn, but she's also scared. And she does have hope that maybe if they can talk things out, that maybe they can work this out. But she gets there. They're both crying. Because they say kind of, both of them say, we love each other. We love each other. I don't know. But maybe love isn't enough anymore. I don't know. They miss each other. And Jenn says, I will always have smelly cats. Smelly cat, smelly cat. Oh, what are they feeding you? Come on. Smelly cat, smelly cat. It's not your fault. And all they wanted to do was let you sleep in the bed, and Jolie's like, get the fuck out. But she says, I'm always gonna have smelly cats. But I still want, or I think Jolie says, I still want to love you, despite that. But I think so I really want to break this down. Jenn is really holding on to the crutch of the animals, the valley, and all of this is the reason why Jolie doesn't want to be here. But Jolie never said that. At least she's telling us she never said that. She's telling Jenn she never said that. And Jolie, on the other hand, is just like, I am trying to fucking tell you that it has nothing to do with that. And nothing is more irritating when you feel like you're not being heard. And that's the thing. I think both parties are not being heard or feel they're not being heard. And that's like, it's not gonna happen right now. I will save my thoughts and my feelings on all of this of who I think is in the wrong. But we'll get to that in a minute. It's hard for me to say in the wrong, but yeah. So Jolie says, I didn't leave because it got hard. I left because I wasn't being heard. And that's what I just said. And she's like, you mitigate with each other. You communicate and figure out ways to fix it with each other. That's a part of being in a relationship. That's a part of being in a loving relationship. But Jenn wants someone. Sorry, I lost my spot here. Okay. Jenn wants someone to be fully in with this kind of laughs and smiles and giggles. And that's just not reality. That's what I really truly think that Jen wants, is she just wants someone to be fully into this. And I'm like, but you're not gonna find that unless you find someone who's a neighbor who chooses to be out there. You're never going to find someone outside of that who is going to be fully into this idea of living out there. And I think that's something you have to realize. I'm going to say this. Jen says she wants someone out there with her to do all of these things with, to love the valley like she does. But she really doesn't. She really doesn't. Because when the times get tough, or she thinks the times get tough, she bows out. She bows out. She gets ahead of it before it can get before it can happen to her. It's like winter. Winter comes and it just ices things over, and you got to prep and prepare for winter, right? Like she was doing. And then once the prep is over and winter's here, you're just like, maybe I just wasn't fully prepared. Now it's cold in the house and all of this, and I'm just going off on a tangent here, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's just like, I really don't think she really wants someone in her life, or really wants to put in the work to have someone in her life the way she does with her off-gridding. Um, Jolie says that I am here because I love you and you are worth it. And I kid you not, guys, when Jolie says to her, you are worth it, please understand you are worth it. And she keeps saying it. You are worth it. You are worth it. I love you. You're worth it. She's begging her to hear her. You are worth it. And Jen shuts down. She's literally shutting down in front of us, because I don't know if Jen's ever heard you're worth it before, or has ever been told you are worth it before. And if she has, I don't think Jen's ever believed it. So when someone is telling her she's worth it, she's like, no, I'm not, because I've been told all my life that I'm not worth it. I wasn't worth it for my mom. My mom abandoned me. My dad left and then got arrested and charged in a murder. So he abandoned me. The foster care system abandoned me. God only knows the life she lived when it came to the father for kids. She's always been abandoned by people. So she's literally thinking, how can people abandon me and I still be worth it? She just can't handle being told she's worth it. And it's really heartbreaking to see. God, this scene with them was fascinating. It was, I couldn't look away. It was, this was good. So Jolie continues on in the next scene saying, allow yourself to be happy and loved. She can't do that though. And all Jen can say to this is, it wasn't just me though. I'm not just the problem. No, you're not. I can agree with you on that. But that's not what she's saying to you right now. What she's saying to you is, it might be both of us, yes. But right now, the barrier, the issue between us right now isn't the animals or the valley or whether or not I like it here, is that you won't let me in. That's the reason. Jenna can't take that right now. So Jolie comes back with, I wasn't miserable. I wasn't miserable. Quit saying that. And again, she has to hold on to this one thing because that is the only thing that makes sense to her. So Jolie says, I have my baggage to work through, yes, but what about you? And I said, damn. But it's true. Jen says she's well aware of her baggage and she can open up about her baggage, but she's not dealing with her baggage. At some point, you need to check that baggage into somewhere and let it sit there. Let it, you need to, or it is better, you need to unpack that baggage. and pack that baggage, find a home for it, and know that it's not going anywhere, but you found a place for it. Jenn has not gotten to that point yet, and I don't know if she ever will, unfortunately, but I really hope she can. She just needs to put her she needs to put the effort she puts into the valley, into her homesteading. She needs to put that into her mental health. I wish the best for her, honestly. Um, so Jenn says, I need time. And Jolie says, fine, fine, I'm done. She says, fuck this. And here's the thing, Jolie has her own things that she needs to work through. Jumping into another relationship isn't the way to do it. And I know I joked in the last episode about, oh, this is what lesbians do. Yes, yeah, sure. But you need to take care of your health, of yourself as well. Do the work that needs to be done. And listen, hell, I did it too. I went from a relationship and trying to jump into another one. It doesn't work. It really doesn't. So Jolie says that I'm not going to fall in love again because my heart is not up for grabs. She's like, I'm tired of giving my all while I get half and I get blamed for it. So if this is a pattern for her in terms of her relationships with her ex, and now Jenn potentially is maybe part of that as well, you need to work through that. Maybe your picker's off. I don't know, but you're somehow gravitating towards similar people. She says she didn't have a great relationship with her child's father or children's father. She didn't have a good relationship with, I'm assuming, I don't know if they were married, but her I'm going to assume ex-wife. And now Jenn, it's, your picker's off, Jolie. And I think you need to work on that. They both have work to be done, honestly. To better themselves. I want them to be better, especially Jolie. I love her. But she says maybe they can be friends, Jenn says. But Jolie says, it will be hard to just be friends when I still love her. And that's exactly it. It is not easy to be friends with an ex when you're still in love with them. Especially when you're still in love with them or you have that history and it's hard to let that go. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I do, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So that's it for them for episode 14 for now. Let's move on to Charlie and Jenn. So Charlie is not going to be proposing marriage, but he is going to propose a house. How about that? He talks to his mom and Marty, who's his sister. And Marty asks, so like, are you going to propose or what? And he's like, well, now why would you ask me that? Because Jenn's been talking. So now he worries about the logistics. He worries about the logistics of getting married, the boys, how that's going to work, or going back and forth, like where her home is really going to be. So, he's worrying about the logistics, which is fair, but that's part of what Jenn's worrying about as well. Y'all need to communicate. But he catches on that maybe Jenn went to them and said something about wanting him to propose because he's like, are you talking for Jenn or are you talking for yourself? And she didn't say anything. She said something. So, um, so he's realizing maybe the house just isn't going to be enough for her. We shall see though. In the next scene, Jenn's sister Stephanie and her are talking. And honestly, guys, I don't really care about the conversation. I more cared about these god awful, ugly earrings that she was wearing that said live on them in different colors. And I'm like, what in the God's name are those? That's all I had to say about that particular scene. In the next scene, Jenn is back in the Black Mountain, and he goes and he shows her the layout of the future house, and she's pleasantly surprised by it. And she agrees to making the mountain her home, so she'll be like, I'm going to Florida to go see the boys, but then I'm coming home. Again, it's just wording, I guess. But a rock is a cornerstone, he says. And I said, huh, really? Okay. But he says the house is a promise ring. And I said, some promise ring? Jesus. Okay. But that's basically it for them for now. We'll come back to them later. So the new people, again, back with Kennard and Christina, right? I think that's her name. they can't get any water from this well that they're trying to build. They said there's no water. He can't find the table, so he's just like, this isn't working. So they might have to just use rainwater instead. And I said, apparently it rains a lot where they are in Georgia, so they can have some rain instead. And I'm like, okay. Their bear is really cute, though, by the way. I didn't really say much about the bird before, but he's really cute. But they're like, so like winter for Jenn and Jolie, water is the character arc of their storyline. We need water, obviously. So yeah, they're gonna, or she basically talks to him about we need to move back to where they live and regroup and come back in maybe in a few months to try this again, get some money, figure things out, and stuff like that. He's like, but I don't want to pack up my animal. She's like, well, do you want to be here by yourself without me and your kids? He's like, no. So he's agreeing to do it. He says, I don't want to quit. And she's like, we're not quitting. We're coming back, but we just need to regroup. So he says, I care about my kids. So, okay, I trust you. So this is what they're going to be doing. And I wrote at the end of this, why are they on the show again? Listen, y'all, this is episode 14. We had, 4 episodes with them and a 14 episode season. Why are they on this fucking show? I don't understand. Because they're off-gridding? Cool. So is everybody else. Anyway, we're getting some updates now. Ryan and Shayla are good now. They're doing good. She stayed there and blah, blah, blah. It's fine. Arunia went backpacking after Samuel left. She has a guy who's kind of cute and coming to help her build a porch. And also he's the right age. And I said, this is disgusting. It feels like a wasp to the flame. She's like a predator with her prey. There's a movie about this. Get Out. That might be what the movie is. A little different because he was black, obviously, and that's a whole separate layer of things. But without the black part of it, it's fucking Get Out. She's luring people into her home, does the little teacup thing, and then traps them there to be her sex slave and make babies with. It's so gross. It's so gross. Or maybe like the praying mantis episode in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's also what I'm also thinking about as well. And she lured, Xander and stuff. Yeah, this is so fucking weird. Okay. Ken and Christina are caring for their animals in their home in Stone Mountain where they live. They're working on their off-grid property and hope to move back in about 6 months. Jenn and Jolie did not pursue their relationship. They're both hopeful in their search for love separately. Joe and Maisha believe they finally found a woman to share their dream with. They invited her to move to the property in 3 months. Maisha remains unable to get pregnant. So I guess we'll see how that goes. I wonder. So let's just kind of go through the season on a whole. The season was good, with the exception of Kennard and Christina. I don't understand why they were here. Charlie and Jen, even though like the story is a little different, it's not quite like it was with first season. It was still nice to see them, but I wonder if like they're gonna kind of flame out a little bit. So I guess we'll see how that kind of turns out. But on the whole, it was a good season. Um, and yeah, we've kind of interesting to see them next, to see who will be coming next season. So who do I think will come back? Obviously Jen and Jolie are not coming back. At least not together. I hope I never see Runia again. She feels like a predator to me, and it's the whole I want to have a baby. I'm running out of time. Here's this cute guy coming to do my porch, and he's the right age. It's just gross. It's just something about her that just rubs me the wrong way. So I hope I never see her again. Obviously, I think Joe and Maisha, we're not done with them. We're seeing them again, and I hope we do. I do think we'll see Jen and Charlie again. I don't think their story's over yet. Unless they break up, which I don't think they will. Who else do we have? I don't think we'll see Ryan and Shayla again. They're kind of boring, honestly. So I don't think we'll see them again. Like I said, I don't think I hope we never see Kennard and what's her face again, because I wasn't into it. Who else did we have? I know there's someone else. Who am I missing? I would Joe Maisha, Arunia, Shayla Ryan, Jolie Jen, Kennard, whatever. Did I cover everybody? Did I catch everybody? Because I feel like I'm missing someone. But yeah, I think we'll see at least those two returning couples again. There was definitely someone else I thought we could see again, and I don't remember who it is. I guess that's it. Okay. All right. Well, guess we'll see how that goes and whether or not we'll get them back. But that's it for this episode. And that's it for our holiday coverage of Love Off the Grid. So you're probably getting this. I'm not sure exactly again when you're getting this. But you would have already had a seeking. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take a look here now so I can tell you what's coming next. We still have some B90 coming as well. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. You would have gotten Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the first episode on the 23rd. You're getting a bonus episode on the 24th and nothing on the 26th. So I'll be posting both of these on the 26th of December. So you'll be kind of getting back to back to back. And then the next episode that's coming next will be the last episode for Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So that's the next thing you'll be getting. But yeah, that's basically it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.